Welcome to the New Lead Order podcast. I'm Marjorie Bostwick Phoenix. I'm a leadership evolution architect for corporate and entrepreneurial women in that threshold moment of their life. These are women who are ready to break the rules and lead, live, and love outside of the box. In this space, we explore through conversation with powerhouse women how they are paving the way into this new world order that is upon us. This is the New Lead Order. What did you give up to survive? Not what did you lose, not what was taken from you, though that happened too, but what did you deliberately set down? Because if you brought it inside with you, it would cost too much. Was it your voice? Was it your creativity? Was it your truth? Your anger? Your knowing? You really tried to bring your whole self into a space that did not want you. And I need you to sit with this, because that space is everywhere you were not meant to be. You know, the job, the relationship, the city. And the thing is, you knew it. You knew the whole time that you were not supposed to be there. You were plotting your escape route or your exit plan, right? But what usually happens is that we are waiting for the perfect conditions. We're waiting for the right timing. We're waiting for a visit from the Holy Spirit. You already know, yet you didn't trust yourself enough to move. Your lack of trust in yourself is directly tied to your lack of knowing of self. It's actually more of a forgetting of self. And this didn't happen by accident. I want you to know this. You learned how to set yourself aside. You got very good at it. You became an expert at leaving parts of yourself outside the door because they were too inconvenient for others, because you didn't want to risk showing up as being too much. And it worked, right? You got through the doors, you got through the relationships, you got through all the gatherings and the meetings, and every single time you laid yourself aside, you forgot more and more of yourself. But if we're being honest, it didn't just happen either. It probably started for most of us as little girls. We had to forget parts of ourselves that were rejected, or the parts of us that were violated. Or maybe once we were plugged into the system and into the workplace and in the corporate space, we had to forget where we came from. We had to forget our parents' names, our native tongue. And then in relationships, we had to forget our voice of truth, our wild intelligence. Dr. Clarissa Pinkola Estes calls this forgetting. And in The Women Who Run with the Wolves, she traces this long history of what happens when a woman loses contact with her instinctual knowing, her wild self. We think it's a failure, but it's really a survival mechanism. Through this slow, strategic erasure of the parts of ourselves that the system was never designed to hold. In her book, she says the bones remember in the story of La Luba. That's what she says. Even after years of forgetting, the bones remember. What lives in your bones that you've forgotten? Or worse, you've been pretending doesn't exist? Right now, if you're watching this video and you're hearing my voice, this is a confirmation that the remembrance has begun. This past week, I hosted a salon called and Courageous, and we were calling in our ancestors, remembering the women either from history or from our blood lineage that came before us and what they gifted us and what we can embody as we're building what's next. And the ancestors revealed something through us that night, that they didn't have more courage than we do. They had the same fear. They had the same doubts. They had the same voices asking, am I enough? Can I really do this? But they moved anyway, afraid, without permission, without a map, and what I keep saying, without the internet and social media. And the women in that room, they began to recognize and remember the same thing in themselves. What those women recognized that night is that we are not starting over. We're remembering. And imagination, collective imagination, collective courage, uncontained imagination is the most dangerous and necessary tool we have now. This is what the work is about. And that is what we're going to go in deeper on April the 13th. And I'll make sure and put the registration link below so that you are able to join us for that gathering. This year is my wild woman era. I've declared it for myself, all right? No more hand holding of the life that was not meant for me. No more apologizing to anyone about who I am and who I'm continuing to evolve into. Your evolution right now, our evolution, is the most important process for you to go through for this time in history. Nothing else matters, because without it, you'll just continue to survive with no memory of your power and your gift. When you tap into that wild woman archetype, you don't just wait for permission. You move with intention. And that intention comes from instinct, from ancestral wisdom, and strategic memory. So I move as the planets move. I listen as the ancestors speak. I tap into my inner knowing, allowing myself to evolve every single day. This is the remembering. See, you've put yourself aside, right? You've put aside parts of yourself for so long in order to survive in this system that was never designed for us, right? What it was designed to do was to dress us up, give us a script, and have us play a role to continue to fuel its existence, not yours. So now it's time for you to remember your voice, your body, your lineage. Remember who you are and why you're here. When a woman starts to remember, she stops performing. Her desire to perform, it just diminishes. She starts moving with her full weight of what she actually is carrying within her. The relationship that was built on, uh, justification for the other person's existence, that shifts. The work that was tolerable because you had to pay your bills, it becomes intolerable. The room that felt like it was enough, but you were suffocating in it, suddenly reveals there is no air because there's no life. This is a clarity of a wisdom within you. And when a woman can see clearly, when she retrieves what she set down and brings it back into her body and into her choices, into how she builds and moves, she doesn't just change her own life, she changes the ecosystem. She becomes what I call an emergent woman, not because she has just arrived anywhere, but because she stopped waiting for a world that was not designed to invite her in. She starts building her own world. We have to stop being distracted by the noise and the information that is not even meant for us. During the Salon, one of the women in the gathering, Thalette, she made this point that deception is a diversion to prevent us from receiving. So receiving what? Receiving what is for us. It means hearing from our deeper selves, hearing from the divine knowing within us. And here is what I know. The divine knowing, this divine wisdom can never be erased. It lives inside us as this original intelligence and creation. And it is time to reclaim that intuitive authority and channel our creative power and embody our ancestors. The thing you set down, it didn't disappear. It's been waiting. It's been patiently waiting for you. We are sitting on the edge of a great remembrance, ladies. We're sensing that there is more to come for each other and for the collective. And we are standing at a threshold. The Emergence Map exists because I needed a way to show women exactly where that retrieval begins, which part of yourself is trying to come to the surface and emerge right now, and which archetype is waiting just behind that threshold that you're standing in. I want you to take yourself through this tool because it'll help you identify the patterns, why it's showing up, and what it's costing you to forget. And along with that, you are going to receive a comprehensive 90-day plan with a tracking sequence and failure protocols to help move you through this. So I'm going to put a link to the Emergence Map as well in the show notes below, because this is just the beginning of remembering. So as always, I am Marjorie, and this is the work of remembering who you are before the world told you who to be.